Hello class, I'm in Canvas. This is week 3 for Network Security Fundamentals. This is the overview you're viewing right now. This is a link to Cengage MindTap where a lot of the content, most of the content of this course resides, a PowerPoint, and the study guide questions. So let's start by going to Cengage MindTap. So I'm there right now. I'm in week 3, and these are the items that we're going to be covering. There's going to be a reading for Chapter 2 or Module 2 in your book. PowerPoint also here as well as on Canvas, and then we have some live virtual lab which counts for a grade for you to look at, exploring the vulnerabilities database, and then the practice quiz. So if I were to go into the book, let's go ahead and do that. And I'm in module 2. If we're not there, we make sure we start there. Module 2. 3 main things we're going to cover for this chapter, and that's and something you're probably very well aware of, social engineering and how that it can be a cyber attack, how that's used. And you've probably seen that on TV shows, and you've seen how people get past the front desk and get into backs of systems by representing themselves the source of authority, and there's a penalty if you don't get me access to something real quick, or I'm the tech support person, need to look at someone's account, any number of ways. But it's an argument, a presentation that looks legitimate to get you past a person. It's targeted toward a person. And we'll look at different types of, to defend our information assets, physical defenses for that. Could be a locked door, it could be the server. For the company, it's not in the break room in a cubicle, it's actually in a locked door that you need access to get to, a key access or a thumbprint or something to get to, company sensitive data. I helped a law firm one time, and one of the main sources of advice I gave them was to don't put your company server in the break room where sometimes you bring customers and you have drinks and things like that. Surprisingly, that happens, all right? And then controls for protecting data. So that's what we're talking about in this chapter 2 or module 2. It starts out with social engineering, and again, these terms, you click on them, you'll get a definition, a means of eliciting information or convincing a user to take some action, to grant them access to something they shouldn't have access to. So we call those the human vectors, and some examples of that. How does that work? There's some representation of authority and some urgency, somehow encourage the person that's being tricked to trust me in some way. I need information. That's what social engineering is all about. And you can actually search for that on YouTube. You'll see some great examples, right? So protecting confidence, things like that. You're encouraging the victim, if you will, to trust me and help me out. So one type is called phishing. It's a common type of social engineering, and you probably get these. It's an email that you get displaying some kind of announcement or false claim, showing that this is a legitimate request I'm making, things like that. And I'm going to ask you, the user, my victim, to take some action that's going to help me get to sensitive information. So, and there's a definition here by clicking on the link. So I think there's different versions of that, like smishing, all right, a short message, SMS. There's different terms for that. So go through this and look at some of this information. I think you'll find it interesting. And then we talk about the second item for this chapter is security, providing security for our sensitive information. And you've seen barriers. If you go to Target, it's a round red ball, right? It's a barrier to keep cars from crashing into the building. No, it doesn't look like that. These you've probably seen, right? You've seen these around, special celebrations for streets where they have festivities and vendors out and so forth, and you don't want cars going down it. Well, you're starting to see these show up, guards to keep people from getting into places. Faraday cages are popular. In fact, you may want to consider getting a Faraday little bag. That's a bag that keeps signals from being received or transmitted. So for your car keys, for your smart key, so that it can't be used to get into your car, something you might want to consider. All right, so protect systems and so forth. What else? computer security. All right, so we have a lock for a laptop here, a combination lock. This cable's connected to a desk, so it can't disappear. Though it's best not to leave that laptop there unattended anyway, especially at conferences, right? You don't just leave your stuff on tables, because it's not just the people in the conference you're concerned about, it's the people that might be walking through the conference area that don't belong there, that could be getting things. All right, so data is classified in different ways as far as how sensitive it is. And based on that sensitivity, then we have to put in extra protection so that it can't be accessed. Maybe it's critical, sensitive, confidential information about the company. All right. And another concept, let's see if I can find it here, trade secrets. So it's an example of that, real sensitive information. Another concept this chapter talks about, let's see if I can find it, has to do with, what is the state of the data, the information you're protecting. Is the data being processed, like being printed, right? All right, is that what's happening? Is that where the data lives? Is it in transit? Is it through the internet or sent through an email? Or is it at rest? Is it on a storage device? And those are different attack vectors you need to kind of protect with your system. So I'll stop there. That's the book. I think you'll like it. It's interesting. It's just kind of the beginning concepts we need to know about for security. So I'm going to go into the live virtual machine lab that you're working on for this week, and I'm loading it up. And I think let's see, start exploring data abilities. So we have you're going to go through, you're going to explore national vulnerability databases and look at information on that. Oh, it wants me to do something. Open up the web browser and use the search engine and search for NIST NVD. Open the first link. So what you'll be doing that, right? You'll be searching the web browser. Where is it? Well, it's right there, right? And then you're going to search for it. So you're going to follow through these steps to do this lab. I guess I'll stop from here. You guys can do that. It's not actually this one. I stand corrected. It's not a live virtual lab. It's a simulation in this case. Sometimes for the weekly activities, there'll be hands-on to servers that are located, in the United Kingdom, and those are live virtual labs. And sometimes the author doesn't have that for the module or chapter, and you have a simulation to go through. So do complete that, and then do the live quiz here. You can see how you stand in answering these questions if you really understood it. And if you did, then you know what? You're ready for next week, because next week we're going to have a quiz on chapters 1 and 2, or as the book calls it, module 1 or 2. So good luck. I'll stop there, and I'll see you